Okay, so hi everybody, welcome to the third episode of our spring series. And today we're going to actually create our first project. It's going to be pretty quick and sweet. So we're going to go to Spring Initializer. This is a website. This is where you can basically start your first project, configure it according to your needs, and start developing in your favorite IDE. We're going to use IntelliJ. IntelliJ, JetBrains, they're doing a great job creating this IDE. It's incredibly easy to use. Another option is for you to use Eclipse. I haven't been using Eclipse in years, but there is another option in Eclipse where you can actually initialize a project straight from Eclipse without going to this website over here. But in any case, you can come here, download the zip file for your project, and use whatever IDE you want to use. Okay, so let's start configuring our project. Okay, so in this project, we're going to use Maven. Maven is basically allowing us to manage the project, manage the dependencies. You'll see what I'm talking about once we'll actually get into our project and run it on our IDE. Then we use Java, of course. We're not going to use Kotlin or Groovy. And by the way, you can use whichever option you want, but it's in this project, in this series, we're going to use Maven and Java. I'm going to choose 3.10 for the Spring Boot version, is the newest one that I would recommend. The group, we'll keep it as it is, and I'll call my project Spring. Yeah, let's go with Spring Boot Pro. Okay, that's going to be our first project. The artifact and the name, let's keep them like it is at this point. The description, demo project for Spring Boot, let's keep it like it is, not a big deal. I'll keep it at jar and Java version 17. In terms of dependencies, I just want to familiarize you with dependencies at this point. We're not going to use any of them right now, but important ones we're going to use a lot. Spring Boot Web, which will allow us to, guess what, create a web application. What else? We have SQL. We're going to use SQL in the next episode. So Spring Data JPA to communicate with the database, MySQL driver. So you can see there are plenty of dependencies over here that are SQL related, no SQL related, cloud computing, input output. Plenty of options that Spring is providing to you. And you can add all of these over here. Let's just add some of them here so you'll get what I'm talking about. Okay, so we have the web application, SQL, Spring Data JPA. Okay, so we're already added 3 dependencies. If you click on Explore here in the button, you have all the dependencies over here. Spring Data JPA, the web dependency, MySQL connector over here, okay, inside a file called pom.xml. We'll see it in the project. Okay, so before we click on generate, I just want you to get rid of all of these dependencies right now. We don't care about this. Okay, we'll click on generate. We'll add all the dependencies as we go. Okay, so as you can see, my Spring Boot Pro.zip file is downloaded. I'm just going to extract it and open it with our IntelliJ. Okay, on the open file or project, we're going to select Spring Boot Pro. Click OK. It's going to prompt you whether you can you trust this project. We're going to click on yes. And it's going to open our first project over here. Okay, so it seems like it's ready. It might take a little bit longer for the project to be ready in your computer for the first time. But that's basically the structure of the project over here on the left, on the right left. On the top left over here, this is basically all the files and all the folders that we have in our project. We're going to focus on 3 main things in this project before we end this episode and move to the next one where we're actually going to write some code. So first of all, we have the SRC folder. Inside the SRC folder, we have the main and the test. Inside the main, we have Java folder. And inside our Java folder, we have the path to our application, to our main application, where we're going to actually click to run this whole app. Inside the SRC, we also have resources. In resources, we have application properties, where we're going to configure our application according to our needs. We're going to use it to connect to our database and use our credentials, etc. So we'll definitely use this part as well. The test, we're not going to do any testing in the next few episodes, but just know that you can use some tests as well, and you can see that there is this test annotation over here to basically run or test some of our code, which is really cool. Okay, so we'll close that. Next we have the pom.xml. I already showed you the pom before. It's basically in this XML format, very similar to HTML. We already see some of the things that we set in our Spring Initializer. First of all, we see the version of the project. We see our artifact ID and the name, the description, the version of Java, and the very basic dependencies that are provided by Spring Boot. Okay, once we'll need to add more dependencies to make our app more functional, we'll actually add it over here. We'll just copy paste and refresh the project. So let's just run it and see that everything works. I'm going just to click on this button, green button over here in our main class. You see it's going to build over here and show me few logs. And right now I'm not getting any errors, so it seems like everything is working fine. If you had any errors, maybe it's because you added some of the dependencies without configuring some things. If you still have problems and you did everything exactly like I did, I mean, you can write down in the comments and let me know what's going on. Well, in any case, that's going to be the end of it. In the next episode, we'll actually start adding some structure to our code and adding some code lines for a change. Have a good one. Thank you very much.